person interviewed was Tumelo Madala, who was much traumatized. He saw the scuffling between suspect A and the deceased. After hearing the gunshots, he ran off to one of the rooms. He gave a similar description of suspect A. I showed him Kelly and a sister's compilation, and he was satisfied with the identity kit. He could not compile the second suspect. The fourth witness was Mr. L.S. Thwala. He gave a similar description of what happened on the scene. He saw a scuffling between suspect A and the deceased. After hearing the shots, he ran out to look for help. He could not describe the second suspect. Page 5. The fifth witness, Mr. T. Makalede, residing at Muzamo 3942, compiled the face of suspect B. He saw 3 unknown African males in the vicinity of the gas station, busy on the cell phones. He saw them again at Kelly's mom's house. Suspect B stood at the gate. He gave the following description: African male, 25 years, 1.80 meter tall, slender build, medium brown complexion, clothing a black hooded top. Witness saw a golden insert in upper teeth, hairstyle, dreadlocks, facial hair, mustache, and beard. Witness saw something in his hand that could have been a firearm. Witness could not describe the rest of the faces. A sixth witness called Sipiwe could not compile any faces, but he mentioned that he saw an old green-blue sedan near the danger box. 2 unknown African males were sitting in the car, and the other 2 were standing outside the car. After a few minutes, the car left, and only 3 unknown African males stayed behind, and they were busy on their phones. The witness later saw them running. In front was a person with dreadlocks running with a firearm in his hand. The other suspect jumps over the wall. Lieutenant Colonel Streicher and I left Foster's detectives to see Ms. Kumalo at her house. I interviewed Ms. Kumalo at the neighbor's house. She gave a similar description of suspect A. I showed her the compilation, and she said she saw a likeness in the face. She could not describe the other suspects. Now, my purpose for this exercise, really, is this. If you look at the people that were in the house, that is, those that gave the description of the persons that were involved in the commission of this offense, i.e., Kelly Kumalo, Zandile Kumalo, Tumelo Madala, Longwe Thwala, and Makumalo. All of those people, according to the affidavit of Warrant Officer Steenkamp, they could not describe the second suspect. And we know that here in court, that second suspect was attributed to be accused number 2, Bongane Sandison Danzi. You see that? From what I've read, that the people that were in the house could not describe accused number 2, according to this affidavit.
My Lord, can I say in response to that, first of all, I did not dispose any affidavit, my Lord, in relation to this content.
Yes.
Yes.
Engizama ukuthi ngitshengise noma ngikuveze kuwena ke ngaloko engiqeda ukufunda ukuthi bonke labantu amagama abo ke esebiziwe aboKelly Khumalo, uZandile, uLongwe, uMakakheli, ukuthi ke lo owesibili umuntu abazange bakwazike ukumchaza kuyena uWarrant Officer Steenkamp, nanjengoba kuyena nje owayedweba. Siyazi ke ukuthi ngokufakazi ke osekuthulwe la enkantolo, lo wesibili ke okhulunywa ngayo kuthiwa ke uyena uaccused number 2. Okokuqala ke uma ngiphendula angikusho ke lokho ukuthi mina ke angikaze nje ngithathe ke istatement mayelana ke nalokhu noma ngisibhale phansi.
And my Lord, I have never ever had an encounter with the person who disposed, my lord, of this affidavit.
Futhi ke angaze nje nakancane ngihlanganeke naye lo muntu lo ekuyena owabhala ke lesi statement esifungele.
So I'm not in position, my lord, to comment on what you are putting to me.
Manje ke angikho kisimo ke sokuthi ke sengaphawula ke kuloko wena okushoyo kimina.
Sergeant Mohola, you are a police officer, and I'm not going to cast any aspersions to you. As part of the investigating team, you assume the investigation of the case. And in the case docket, it says the previous 40 people that were fired, people are fired. Fired is used in this court, people are fired. The 40 people that were fired, investigating officer prior to yourselves, according to the evidence of Makubu, have done preliminary investigations. And amongst those, it's the identity kit, other investigations that were conducted prior to your team assuming or being seized with this investigation. Now, as part of familiarization, you will know that there is the identity kit that seemed to link suspect A and suspect B to the offense. I'm not saying you personally were involved in the interaction with Warrant Officer Steenkamp, or you personally deposed to a supplementary affidavit pertaining to this document. I'm just reading you the contents to say, do you see in what is written in this document, ex facie, on the face of it, it says all the people that were in the house, they did not describe any feature of the second suspect that entered the house. That's the gist of my answer.
We're sitting in the same problem that we had yesterday when Mr. Mgomezulu was cross-examining. We have these witnesses who have given viva voce evidence. They've expanded on their evidence. We submit that it's unfair now to go back after they've even identified accused number 2 in court, to go back and say, but there's this document that was compiled shortly after the incident, wherein the issues that Mr. Ramsepeli is referring to were traversed in Exhibit J. When they've given evidence, we submit that the proper way is to refer to that evidence to say, look, in totality, in addition, not only to this exhibit, but to the evidence, this is what they said. It's unfair to select just one portion of their evidence and to confront the witness with that. It's got to be based on the totality of the evidence, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Ramsepeli.
My lord, I don't know where the fairness is, because the witness can answer. If they can, they can. And I've got the records. And you know, sometimes the objections are premature. Because I was going to refer to the description, the dog identification that was done by both Tumelo and Ms. Kumalo Zandile of accused number 2. I've got the records, I've marked them for that purpose. So let me run my cross-examination now.
But this witness, is she able to comment? You said to her she can comment if she's capable of doing so.
Yes.
She gives a comment that she was not involved in this type of exercise. She never even communicated with Steenkamp. So what should she say,
She
according
could
to
simply
you?
have said, I can't comment. She shouldn't give me an answer that is parallel to the question.
Are you able to comment, ma'am?
No comment, my lord.
Simple.
Kubufakazi ke akukho engakusho ngoba kushushisi uthi ke akho ngendlela ukuthi ummeli manje ase uyabukhetha ke ubufakazi ngoba ke usengakuhlanganisa lokho akubuzayo ukuthi labantu yebo yiloko abakusho kodwa asho ukuthi kukhona ke nalaba ababili abefika ke enkantolo base bayamkhomba ke umsolo wesibili athi ke ummeli cha bese bengizofika ke khona lapho kodwa ufakazi uthi cha akukho yena angakusho lokho.
And further, the other people that are mentioned here, if you can comment, a person called Sipiwe, mentioned by Warrant Officer Steenkamp, and a person called Makaleni, I can tell you as a fact that these are not the people that were in the house at the time of the commission of the offense. Would you agree with that? Sipiwe and T. Makaleni.
My Lord, I can only comment on Makaleni because I was tasked to follow on him.
You were
Uma ukhuluma ke ngalabo abantu ababili ke uSiphiwe oMagaleni ukuthi ke babengekho endlini, mina umuntu engakhuluma ngaye ke ukuthi uMagaleni ngoba ke nganikezwa ke umsebenzi ukuthi ke ngimlandelele.
Okay. What can you comment about Sipiwe Makaleni?
That Mr. Makaleni has passed on.
Ukuthi ke uSiphiwe Magaleni usewashona.
So it's issues of Section 3 of the Evidence Amendment Act. So I'll leave it that it's a point of law. I'll leave it
But
at
has he made an
He has
affidavit?
He has made affidavits, my lord.
Okay.
Yes. And this Sipiwe person, you were not asked to follow up on him because they only mentioned Sipiwe. There's no surname or details given.
No, my Lord.
Okay.
Kodwa kuSiphiwe yena ke angazi ngitshela lutho ukuthi kufanele khona kufanele kwenze mayelana naye.
Just to leave on this aspect of the warrant officer's facial recognition affidavit, and I'll put this to you. If it's speculative, don't answer it. She says at that time she had 22 years experience in the police and about 17 years as facial recognition, and that according to the affidavit, she compiles it according to the description that is given by the witnesses. Now, hear me out. If you can answer, you can. If you can't, you can't. If she says these 5 people that were in the house could not describe accused number 2, as a police officer, would you agree with me that she could not suck that information from the vacuum? It must have been given by those people that she says they couldn't describe accused number 2.
May you please repeat the question?
A warrant officer of 22 years, if he says Makumalo, Kelly Kumalo, Zandile Kumalo, Tumelo Madala, Longwe Thwala, did not give me the description of accused number 2. She didn't suck that up from the air. She didn't make it up. Would you agree that's a fair comment to make?
That's correct.
Kuyiqiniso ke uma ukuthi ke uwarrant officer Steenkamp lona ke ubhalile noma uyasho ke lapha ukuthi labantu laba uKelly Khumalo, uZandile Khumalo, uMakhumalo, Longwe, uTumelo abakwazanga ke noma babe kusimo sokuthi ke bamchaze umsola wesibili. Lokho kusho ukuthi ke into ayithola kubona akusiyona into ayicabangela.
Yeah, but for me, because Mr. Mgomezulu has put it that this is a cover-up. So you're saying, despite the fact that it has been put that the police, including yourself, were busy with a cover-up, you're still able to say, to give a comment fairly and not be subject to be giving a comment to cover up, as it is put by Mr. Mgomezulu.
My Lord, I'm just responding to this, my Lord, as an opinion. It's like he's making an example.
No, fine.
Because, as I said, I'm not the one who, I'm not the author of the statement.
Did you hear my comment about the fact that you are accused of a cover-up? Are you aware of it?
Yes, my Lord, it's actually the question that was put to me by Mr. Mgomezulu.
That's it. Now you're commenting on the investigation. Is it still under the cloak of you covering up? Just all I want to understand.
No, my Lord, there is no cover-up, my Lord, whereby, my Lord, I was involved in.
Okay.
Lo mbuzo ke oqeda ukuphendula manje ke ngiyabuzwa kumuphendula kodwa ke kunale nkulumo ke ekhishiwe noma ke ekhulunyiwe izolo yena ke uMr Mgomezulu ukuthi ke kwakunokuthi ke kwa cover up noma kwaku ikhona nje into eyahlanganiswa amaphoyisa lana ingaba lokho lo mbuzo oqeda ukuphendula manje uphendula ngoba ke ngalombuzo lo obuziwe noba ngaphansi kwaloko bekushiwo uyena uadvocate uMgomezulu ukuthi ninake ningamaphoyisa nje likhona nje ikulo noma into enaniphezu kwayo cha mina ke akukho nje kwahlanganisa nokuthi ke bekhona nje into ephekayo noma ke itulo nje elihlanganiswayo.
Okay. Now, for contextual purposes, and exactly what I said, I'll come to, regarding the description that was given by Zandile Khumalo. That will be found, my lord, at page 48, with the transcript of 19 July 2023. I think they'll show it here. July, page 48. Page 48 from line 15. 48. It starts where, perhaps if I go to line 14, where Ms. Khumalo says, as I'm here in court, I saw the gentleman there. Yes, that's the line there, 14. And then just before the screen, it says, Mr. Baloyi, which one is it? From your left is accused 1 up to accused 5. And then Ms. Khumalo says, suspect number 2. And Mr. Baloyi says, yes, can you just, if you say suspect 2, what do you mean? Ms. Khumalo, suspect 2 is the one that had the hoodie following the one with the dreadlocks. And Mr. Baloyi, now, are there any specific features that enabled you to say that accused 2 is the second person who was in the house? We're going to page 49. Ms. Khumalo, on that day, as I explained, that I took a crutch and together with Tumelo tried to assault the person. I was with him and I looked at him very well. Mr. Baloyi, and how far were you from him? Ms. Khumalo, our kitchen is very small. As you can see from the previous pictures there, that the stove is close to the sink is close to the door. So it's very close. Mr. Baloyi, are there any specific features that enable you to identify him? You have already placed the description on record, but you say you see him in court. What reminded you, or what enabled you to say he's the person who was in the house on the day? Ms. Khumalo, his whole face, I remember well, his stature, his body, as well as his height when he was standing. Now, did you see accused number 2 before the incident? No, I did not. So those are the descriptions, and there's also a description that she gives with respect to what she added at the identity kit compilation with Mrs. Yvonne to the effect that she only added the complexion and she added the height. So that is the description that was given. But my point is that this description, as she gives here in court, identifying accused number 2, was not given to Mrs. Steenkamp at the compilation of the identity kit.
Please, my lord, I think that's a matter for argument.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but this evidence was traversed by yourself, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Ramusipidi, when you were cross-examining Zandile Kumar.
Yes. So
And now we are repeating the same evidence again.
now, I was just clarifying on the aspect that the objection was based on, my lord. I couldn't leave it hanging. Now, let us move forward. Upon the arrest of accused number 2 on the 16th of June 2020, subsequent to that, the 17th until they appeared in court, was there an identity parade held where the people in the house had to identify accused number 2?
My lord, I have no idea because I was not tasked, my lord, to arrange any identification parade.
Ukuthi ke emuva kokuthi eseboshiwe ummangalelo wesibili ngey17 ukuya le phambili ke ukuthi ikhona yini ikhomba parade eyenziwa ke la abantu beyomiswa khona ke kuletho fakazi ukuthi bayokhomba khona, angikwazi lokho, angikaze ke ngitshelwe ke noma ngicelwe ukuthi ke angihlanganise lokho.
Now let us go back to the incident of the 18th of June 2020 when you, Brigadier Gininda, attended upon Sibanye Stillwater Gold Mine in Carltonville, and you met Sergeants Mabena and Mohani, who were already at that mine. Remember that date?
That's correct. I remember the incident of Sibanye.
Ngiyakhumbula ke ngesigameko sasesibanye nge18 kaJune la sahamba khona ke kanye noBrigadier Gininda sasesihlangana phambili ke naye uMabena noMukhani.
And I'm just going to summarize your evidence and correct me if it's misquoted. You stated that upon arrival, Mohani and Mabena had already done inquiries. Brigadier Gininda asked them if they've got any document to show that accused number 2 was not at work on the 26th of October.